Hi Life Science students. This week your educations lesson is on the parts of the cell. They're called organelles, and so this lesson is called cell diagrams. You should have a Cornell note sheet that looks like this. It has the plant cell diagram on the front side and the animal cell diagram on the back side. You will be labeling all of these labels in here. Remember that with Cornell Notes, all of the notes take place in this section. This section on the left you don't do anything with until the end, and I'll tell you what to do with it at the end. The colors that you use on the animal cell diagram should be the same as the colors that you use on the plant cell diagram. So, for example, if you use a color blue to color in this part right here, which is the nucleus, on the animal cell, this part is the nucleus and should have the same color. You do not need to use the same colors that I use, but you do need about 12 different colors because there are 12 different organelles. So make sure that you have crayons, markers, colored pencils, combination thereof of 12 different colors before you begin. Alright, so first, labeling the Cornell notes. The topic is cell diagrams. So you should write at the topic section, cell diagrams, the list of cell organelles. And then, of course, at the top, put your name, class, period, date. Okay, let's get started. Number 1 on the plant cell, over here on the left, is mitochondria. There are 3 mitochondria in this particular plant cell. There's one here, and one here. I colored them in red. You can use whatever color you wish. Try not to make the colors too dark. You want to be able to see the detail inside of each organelle, but you can use dark colors, just shade it in lightly. Number 2 is cytoplasm/cytoskeleton. The label is right here. And the part to color in, as you can see I colored pink, is basically, it's like the stuff that's on the inside in between all of the other organelles. It's not the little dots that are there, we're going to get to that later, but it's all like the jelly type substance that kind of holds all the other organelles together. If you want, you can just shade it in lightly now and then shade it in better later. Or just leave it lightly shaded in, that's fine too. Number 3 is chloroplasts, labeled right here. Now on this one, I do recommend that you use green because the real ones are green. And this will help you remember. And the chloroplasts are very, very important in one of the topics we're going to be studying later this year. So I do recommend that you use green on this one. There are 5 of them labeled in this picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, the purpose of this lesson is just to label the diagrams and with their names. We will discuss in class a little bit more about what each of these organelles do, what their job is for the cell. Number 4 is vacuole, the big vacuole in the center. Next one, number 5 is a cell wall. Now be careful with this one because if I zoom in on this picture, you can see that there are actually 2 different layers here. There's this layer right here, that's something different. And then there's this outer layer, that's the cell wall. So make sure that when you're coloring that you do not color any of this inner layer, because that is going to be something else. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next one. That probably wasn't enough time for some of you, but you can pause the recording right now if you wish. Or you can just lightly shade it in now and then go back later and fix your drawings, make them look a little bit better. Going on to the next one. Number 6 is the Golgi complex and its vesicles. And let me zoom in on this part here, because this is the Golgi complex right here, or at least one of them that would be inside of a plant cell. And I colored it kind of this beige color, but like I said, you can use whatever color you wish. Okay, going on to the next one is the cell membrane. This is the one that I told you not to color before. So now you're going to be coloring in just this inside membrane on the inside here. Going on to the next one. The nuclear membrane. Allow me to zoom in and show you where this is. So the nuclear membrane is the part on the outside of this egg-type structure right here. This egg-type structure right here. And I colored it in purple. Going on to the next one, the nucleus. So now color on the inside of that egg-type structure, the nucleus. And the next one is the endoplasmic reticulum. That is this structure at the bottom. It's kind of a curvy structure right next to the nucleus. You will find endoplasmic reticulum right next to the nucleus. And let me zoom back out and let's talk about pronunciation. Alright, so endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, want to try it with me? Endoplasmic reticulum. And that is singular. If you wanted to do a plural, endoplasmic reticula is how you would do it. This would be the plural of that. It's Latin. And the last one on the plant cell are the ribosomes. The ribosomes are in a couple of different places. Let me zoom in and show you. So first are the little pink dots that are all over the cytoplasm. The other one are the little pink dots on the endoplasmic reticulum. So there's two places that you need to color in these dots. Now, you're saying, oh my gosh, Mrs. Corbett, really? I need to color in all of these dots, some particular color? Yes, it does not take that long. Alright, so when you're all done, you should have something that resembles this, that has everything all colored in, and with all the labels at the top. I purposely left the labels out of this particular drawing, but you have been doing the labels all along with me, so you should be good. Now, on the left-hand side of your Cornell notes, this is where you get to now do some processing. So you're going to take a look at your notes on the plant cell, and remember that for the left side processing part, you're to take a look at the notes that you made and come up with 3 questions. Now there are several different options you can do for questions. Option number 1 is that you could write a question that would be a good quiz question on some future quiz or test. Option 2 is to write a question that you have about something in the notes, something that you're unsure about. And then option 3 is to write a follow-up question, something that was in the notes that you're now wondering about, something that wasn't addressed in the notes at all, but that you now have a question about. You can do all 3 questions, could be option 1 questions. All 3 questions could be option 2, or you could mix it up. I will be looking at your questions later when you turn in your notes. So take a few minutes right now, maybe pause the recording, and write your 3 questions. You can also do this all the way at the end once we finish with both diagrams. But the 3 questions that you write here on this side should be about the plant cell only. Alright, so flip your paper over. Now we're on the animal cell diagrams. Now, remember that if you colored in the nucleus on the plant cell blue, then when we get to the nucleus part in the animal cell, it should also be blue, okay? But I will tell you, there is one part in here that's not in the plant cell. So that's your 12th color. You're going to need that 12th color for this last part, and I'll tell you right now, it's number 10. It's this one right here. So that last 12th color that you have, save it for number 10. All the other ones, numbers 1 through 9, you're going to be repeating colors from what you used on the plant cell. So you're going to be flipping back and forth a lot on your paper. Here we go. So first, mitochondria. Just like in the first one, or in the plant cell, the number 1 in the animal cell is also mitochondria. So again, the label is here. There are 3 mitochondria in this animal cell that I colored red because I used red in the plant cell. Now another note about the mitochondria. This A actually indicates the plural. If you wanted to do the singular, then it's mitochondrion is a singular mitochondria. Again, Latin, so it doesn't use the English plural that you're used to with S or ES. Number 2 is cytoplasm and cytoskeleton, just like number 2 in the plant cell. The label is over here. It's pink. It's all the stuff in between all of the organelles. Notice these things here are colored, the pink color, because those are part of the cytoskeleton. These little pieces here. So do color those in pink. Number 3 is the Golgi complex and vesicles. The label is here. The colors, there's 2 of them actually in this particular animal cell. There's this cluster of them here, and a cluster of Golgi complex over here. Notice that these right here, this part right here, these are separate. These are the vesicles that are getting pinched off from the Golgi complex itself. Oop, too small. number 4 is the vacuole. Much smaller than in the plant cell. There's a reason for that. We'll discuss that later, but there's your vacuole label, and then the vacuole color is yellow. Or whatever color you used. Number 5 is the nucleus. It's pointing to the egg-shaped nucleus. One question you may have is, what's the difference between this part here and this outer part here? The outer part and the inner part together is the nucleus. This part here in the center is something else called the nucleolus. This is where the DNA is condensed. We'll talk more about that later. Number 6 is the nuclear membrane. It is, here's the label here, the label right here, and then it's the purple part on the outside of the nucleus. Number 7 is the endoplasmic reticulum. Again, you see how it is connected to the nucleus. There's a reason for that. You'll see actually here, there's a space right here. There's an opening in the nuclear membrane where the endoplasmic reticulum attaches. That's important. We'll talk about that later. And number 8 are the ribosomes, all the pink dots. And there are a few pink dots on the actual endoplasmic reticula itself, right in here. Some of the endoplasmic reticulum is what we call smooth endoplasmic reticulum, where it does not have ribosomes, and then some of this endoplasmic reticulum is rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is the ones with the ribosomes on it. And then, of course, all the ribosomes within the cytoplasm. I colored mine a darker pink than the cytoplasm itself. And number 9 is the cell membrane. So think of this cell like a bowl. You know, it's like a sphere that's been cut in half. So that's why the bottom part here is the cell membrane as well. And then number 10 is the one where you need that 12th color. This is one that does not exist in a plant cell, and that is a lysosome. And there's only one shown in this particular animal cell. There are more lysosomes than that in a cell typically, but there's just one in this picture. Alright, so now you should have an animal cell diagram that looks something like this. It's all colored and all labeled. Now let's do the processing part. Now this time, I have 2 questions that I would like you to answer. So on this left side here, I would like you to write these two questions and then answer them as well. So don't forget to put the answer as well. So number one, which organelle or organelles are in the plant cell but not in the animal cell? So compare the two. And then number two, which organelle or organelles are in the animal cell but not in the plant cell? And then make sure you put that answer as well. So compare your two drawings. And then the third one is just going to be your own question. And remember your three options. You can write a possible potential quiz question based on the notes. Remember, everything in the animal cell. You can write a question, something that you're unsure of from the notes that you just got. Or the third option is to write a note, a question that you are now pondering about, something in the notes that made you think, I wonder what this is, or whatever. I know what you're thinking. Do you have to answer number 3? No answer for number 3. Just the question. You just need to compose a well-thought question using one of those 3 options. All right, and that's it. Make sure that you get these notes done on time to show me on its due date.